ですね。マスターズ1での結果がまあまあ良くてトップ3までいけたのは、まあ、すごい大きな自信にはなったんですけど、やっぱりどれだけなんだろうな、なんて言ったらいいかな、まあ、世界大会に出てくるチームがどれだけ強いかを身をもって体感したし、自分たちもちょっとどこまでいけるかっていうのは正直分かってないのがあるんですけど、まあ、やれることをやるだけで全力でいくしかないなと思ってます。
So becoming third in the world for Masters 1, it has helped us build a lot of confidence. But as we know that in the international tournaments, there are a lot of great teams. So we're not too sure about how far we can go this time, but we are hoping that we can pull it together.
Speaking of confidence, obviously pressure that Yinsu's already alluded to there, you had one of the biggest audiences in tactical FPS history, 13,000 people staring at you as you battled Northeption. You missed out on Copenhagen as a result. You spoke about getting that confidence from the Masters previous. Do you think maybe that pressure really hindered you in being able to make Copenhagen? And will that also be a factor here now that you're at Champions?
今自信の話が出ましたが、ゼータディビジョンマスターズ1の後に、タクティカル FPS の中では最大とも言えるような1万3000人の観客の中でのプレーというのもありました。So could you repeat the
do you think that confidence that you had maybe is lessened from the pressure of having a crowd, especially one so big? Do you think that affected you when you were having the LAN in Tokyo, or do you think that that's something you've overcome now? You know that that won't be a pressure in Champions.
そこの1万3000人という観客の前でプレイできた、ノーセプションに対してプレイできたっていうところは、このチャンピオンズで戦う上でのさらなる自信につながっているのか、いかがですか？
そうですね、まあ、観客の前でプレイする、あれだけの観客の前でプレイするっていうのはもちろん初めてですごい緊張感とかはあったんですけど、まあ、そうだな、僕は個人としてはあんまり緊張はしなくて、なんか目が悪くてあんまり見えないってのはあるんですけどあとまあ他のチームメンバーに聞いてもそんなに緊張してない感じがして、まあもともとプレッシャーに強い選手が集まったのかなとは思ってますね。で、
そこでいいですかね。So, of course, having to play in that kind of environment in front of 13,000 people was my first time to play. And but surprisingly, I wasn't too nervous in front of the audience. It could be partly because my eyesight is not too good. But
me too, I can relate.
But when I talked to the other teammates, my teammates were also not too nervous in front of the audience as well.
And lastly, it's kind of poetic that your return to international tournament, you have the two teams that finished above you at Reykjavik in your group. So what do you think about your group and those rematches?
今回レイキャビクで、ゼータディビジョンの上に順位をつけた、2チームが、同じグループになるというドラマチックな展開になっていますが、このグループについてどう思いますか？
そうですね、まあマスターズ1のトップ3が集まってしまって、で抜けれるのは2チームだけで、まあ、その時の順位でいくと自分たちは3位だったので結構まあ劣勢ではあるのかなとは思ってるんですけど、でもそうですね、やっぱりトップチームと戦うのがすごい好きでめちゃくちゃ楽しみっていうのは一番大きな気持ちです。
So top 3 teams of Masters 1 is all in one group. Only 2 teams get through. And because we were third in that tournament, we're sort of on the weaker position. But as I really love to play strong teams, so I'm really looking forward to and very excited about this.
Thank you so much, Kohei. We have full faith in you, Laz. Thank you for joining us, and we'll throw this back to you guys on the desk.
All right, well, let's go ahead and talk about ZETA's opponents because it's Loud from Brazil, and they are here, Mimi, for redemption? Because Copenhagen didn't quite go their way.
No, it absolutely did not. But for this team, I mean, they came out, they're looking like this Brazilian super squad, and they continue through, same roster, re-qualify. They've continued to be incredibly dominant in their region, but now at international events, we've seen them falter just a tad. And the question now, coming into Champions is, was that a one-off blip, or is that what we should expect from this squad? Was it just a high that they hit at one event, or can they repeat that?
So many different teams have struggled with staying on top once they get to the top. And Loud spoke in the press conferences afterwards about how many uncharacteristic mistakes that they were making in Copenhagen. Their trading seemed a lot worse. Les had worse of tournaments, as did Sassy. You know, things just weren't clicking for them at all. And you've got to be firing on all cylinders to make a repeat top 3 podium finish.
Yeah, that they do. They did re-qualify straight into this event, so they've had quite a bit of time off to recover and come back from those mistakes. But certainly, I think this team has talked quite a bit that they feel that in Brazil, because they are so dominant in that region, it's hurt them just a tad.
Yeah, actually, there was a quote from Coach Bazooka over on VLR talking about the competition in Brazil. And it states, from the moment we managed to talk about the strategic aspects, reactions, and understanding of the map, I think that Brazil often stops studying the game to play ranked or deathmatch, and that pulled us back. Sideshow sounds a lot like you and Brent.
I mean, the Brazilian region gets absolutely dominated by Loud, so it makes sense, right? You can only really learn when you come to these events and you're having boot camps and you're scrimming against good teams and developing your game like that, but it's about being able to actually convert it when the matches happen too. And I think the adaptation of the meta too, with Sassy taking the back foot, playing more Fade, not getting as involved in the fights, all of these things kind of came together in a big storm and really hurt them. This is their opportunity to bounce back and showcase that they're not a one-off fluke team. And I trust them to bounce back more than I do ZETA. I have much more faith in Loud.
Yeah, I do as well. And I think for the team that does kind of rely on those synergies, and what they build in compositions, that's part of what made
Looking to go the distance like they did in Reykjavik, less will need to be more. There you go.
Yeah. So, Mimi, we're going to ignore
you guys can hate me.
Yeah.
I mean, Les was playing a lot of Chamber, and domestically in Brazil, he was dominating people. And then he comes to Copenhagen, and he played quite poorly, and he didn't get traded out well at all by the rest of his team. However, with Chamber maybe being a little bit less powerful than it was, he could go back to playing some Cypher, some Viper, areas where he played fantastically at Reykjavik.
And those were the comfortable roles for him. I think when he was playing the Chamber, there was a lot of pressure on him to kind of help Ospas in that dive to follow up. We saw a lot less of those kind of lurk plays that were really effective for this guy when he was playing on those more traditional Sentinels or the Viper. So I would really like to see him head back. I think that generally that's been a role that has shown a lot more confidence for this guy.
I will say, though, most of the Chambers have still been sticking to Chambers, so
Sure.
it might not necessarily be a better meta. It might just be that Les had a particularly bad tournament at Copenhagen, and we see him bounce back. Either way, though, they've got to get more out of this guy.
Yeah, and if you're ZETA in this situation, you're looking at what happened to Loud in Copenhagen. What could be some of the things that you try to exploit if you're ZETA to maybe pull away this victory? That would be a big upset victory for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things is that ZETA Division were so excellent at just being able to hold these really static spread defaults and punish aggression. And that means you're going to need to punish Aspas, and you're going to need to punish Sadak, who's always the 1-2 punch there. So that's the big fight that you're going to see strategically between these teams.
And I think they also have an advantage because coming into this, the onus is kind of on Loud to have something new, have something ready. It has been months since we have seen ZETA play at an international event or even at home in Japan because they did requalify off of the point. So they've had lots of time to cook new strategies up, to adapt, and show us something new that Loud might not be expecting.
Yeah, fair points, fair points. Now, earlier, we asked you guys who made the best fan art for Loud.
It was me.
Was it Mimi, who actually
certainly
worked
not you.
hard, or was it Sideshow, who just had someone on his Discord make it and he paid $150? I'm upping the
was
price,
that
so you
high?
have to pay more.
You're just increasing the price.
Yeah, actually, it was a
undercutting
$200 payment for that, and the winner is
Let's
Sideshow.
go!
He didn't even
This
do
is
it.
a travesty.
He did not even do it. That is a scam.
I demand a recount.
I am an artistic genius, a modern day Monet, a modern day Van Gogh.
If you don't pay that person $300 for that artwork, there might be some violence.
I mean, all I can say is, thank you, Clever. You did a great job. I think it was a wonderful one. I think it was much more obvious that it was sassy compared to Mimi's diabolical attempt. It looked great.
I think we just saw theft before our very eyes here today. All right, well, guys, I think we absolutely killed it on the pre-show. That's patting myself on the back there. But we're all done here, and it's now time to move on. 4 of the world's best teams make their debut today, and their road to the crown starts here. Valorant Champions Day 2 starts right now.
Being a champion, it comes with the legacy, it comes with the status, it comes with preparation, hard work, determination. This is definitely the tournament to bring your all and show that you can be a champion.
Being a champion for me, it means like that you have conquered not only your region, you conquered the world. That's what makes you a champion. E vamos dar nosso sangue para representar o Brasil da melhor forma possível. E é isso, faz velho. 世界中の方が日本のリージョンに興味を持ってくれたっていうのは非常にありがたいことですが。
I just call what I believe. My teammates believe me, so we're really happy. We're really proud of ourselves. Finally, we can do it.
出てこれた日本のチームがうちだけということで、他で頑張ってるチームの分も含めて、自分たちがやらないとなっていう気持ちはあります。
We demonstrated on Denmark that we were a strong team. We didn't have our coach back then, but now we're complete. ZETA, they're kind of like similar to our playstyle, which is so aggressive and confidence with the aim. We know we're a strong team. If we play like we're playing on scrims, we can beat everyone.
We're just gonna play the game how we want it to be played.
Okay, go.
The one guarantee is that we're always gonna make it entertaining.
You can feel the tension, the pressure for these players as they get ready for these matches today, and you can't have a world championship without a killer stage. So we're going to get this started in just a moment here, folks. It's time to light this bad boy up. Let's get the show started.
ZETA Division. Loud. Optic. Boom. Paper X. Leviathan.
Oh, now it's time to dive into our map vetoes and see where we're going to be fighting first here, Mimi. Honestly, I feel like the options are truly endless here, especially with Pearl in the rotation.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see those changes. Loud was a team that was never a big fan of playing through split, so they have a couple options with their first ban here. I'd probably expect them to get rid of the Haven or the Bind.
Yeah, I think Haven has to go. Bind, I think they'd be perfectly happy playing against ZETA Division, in my opinion. Even though both teams are looking fine on Bind, But Loud do not want to be playing Haven against this squad, in my opinion. The ZETA ban, to me, is where it gets more interesting, the one after that, because they have the options of trying to get rid of like a Breeze. They have options of getting rid of Ascent. I think those are the big two picks for how this series goes forwards.
And at one time, each of those maps was their perma. At the previous event, back at Iceland, they were pretty much always getting rid of that Ascent. Then coming into their domestic competition in Stage 2, they were willing to play that map, but it still wasn't looking that great. I think either Breeze or Ascent coming through, they're likely to be punished by Loud.
Yeah, to me, Loud are still one of the best teams in the world on Ascent. So I think that should be the map that ZETA gets rid of, because otherwise they're leaving themselves open to an immediate 0-1. Loud will pick Ascent if they don't get rid of it, and they will go down.
All right, well, you know, here's my obvious soft-hitting analysis that everyone expects from GB and a Valorant desk. Do you think we see Pearl in play? Maybe, do we get like a little toss like we did with yesterday with Paper X and
I think there's a chance, because again, like we've said, ZETA has not played in ages. So they've had a lot of time to go home, prep, try to implement something new, but they also have just kind of last minute gotten 10 back into their roster. So I would imagine they stick to something that they've had a little bit more time with, have been a little bit more comfortable, have played in officials. I wouldn't really expect it here.
Yeah, I don't think so either. A lot of the pros are making comparisons between Pearl and Split. Split was an amazing map for ZETA Division. We showed you highlights earlier from their run in Reykjavik. Half of them were on Split.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the map that powered them to go on that run, and it's no longer available for them here at Champions. And I don't think the maps play similarly. A lot of the teams are talking about how similar it is because of small choke points, but on Split, you can hold and deny info to the defenders. On Pearl, you have to go and take all of that map control away from the defenders. It's such a big difference that I think people haven't quite internalized yet, and I don't think ZETA are going to be great at it.
Yeah. Now, just an FYI to everyone, you know, there was like a little bit of an issue here with the the graphics.
Little glitch in the Matrix.
A little glitch
GB
in the
unplugged
Matrix.
something.
I did. I do have a tendency to
it.
do that. Don't know the difference between an HDMI and a USB cable, but we actually have maps, picks and bans available and ready to go. Do it the good old-fashioned way. So let's see what we end up first here, Mimi. It's going to be Loud's first veto. Let's see what they go for.
And it will be the Haven ban. That makes a good amount of sense for them. ZETA's look good on that map. They've been somewhat uncomfortable, and Breeze goes as second. They had the option between Ascent and Breeze. I would have preferred them to actually maybe let that Breeze through, get rid of that Ascent, because like you were saying, Josh, Ascent is an excellent map for Loud, and I think Breeze is a little flippier. You have a better chance at the upset there.
Yeah, either way, I think it was a gimme for Loud on one of these
Damned
maps.
if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, it makes it very tough, but ZETA Division going for what has been historically one of the weaker maps for Loud, but Loud have actually shored up their Fracture a little bit, so that should be a competitive map too. And now we get to see whether people are happy floating Pearl.
Yeah, and they will not. Loud gets rid of it. As to the Fracture point, I think it is a little interesting to see that tested. Loud at Copenhagen, I felt, was looking pretty good there. I like the way they play the Sage, that execution and kind of post-plant heavy composition. Icebox is gone by ZETA Division as their final ban, which leaves us as Bind, and this is a map that we haven't seen from either of these teams in at least 3 months, so it's a little bit of a question mark.
Yeah, I think the map pool, no matter which way it went, it always favors Loud. ZETA Division with Split out of the pool have actually quite a poor map pool overall. I think it doesn't have too much depth to it. But the thing about ZETA is, the last time they came to LAN, they looked infinitely better than they were online. So all of your expectations for ZETA coming into Champions, they should be quite low, honestly. 10 hasn't been practicing with them very much, just recovering from an injury. Their play has been fairly poor online, but that's the same story before Reykjavik. It's all about whether or not you turn up at LAN, and that apparently is where Laz and Sugar Zero thrive.
Yeah. I mean, when they get on that stage, this is where these players feel really comfortable. They had so much experience, even in front of an audience regionally. Now they're back here at Turkey to try and do it again.
All right, well, guys, the map picks are locked in, and in just a few moments, we're going to have ZETA and Loud take the stage. So stay with us, folks. It's VCT Champions. Welcome back to Valorant Champions Istanbul. It's time for our two teams to bring the heat as they walk out to the stage. So please welcome ZETA Division and Loud.
Cadre. Last. Ten.
All right, so I think I learned that Pancata might be a John Cena fan. So that's one wrestling reference for the broadcast.
Was
everyone.
that the face thing?
Oh, goodness gracious me. So these two teams getting ready to take the stage here at Sideshow. I think like for Loud, they might feel like perhaps, and obviously you can't take any opponent lightly, but maybe for them they feel like it could just be business as usual. But for ZETA, it's a massive opportunity for them.
I actually think there's pressure on both teams here.
Really?
Because
Okay.
both teams need to prove that their run at Reykjavik was not some kind of fluke. And actually, neither these teams did not match up at Reykjavik. You might think, oh, it's second place versus third place. They must have fought each other at some point. They didn't. They just dodged each other in the brackets. Loud crushed the upper bracket. ZETA went on a run through the lower. And now they get a chance to rewrite that story. The next chapter is Champions. And it's the one that matters.
Yeah, and I think that for ZETA in particular, there's some pressure on them because they have finally kind of regained their full roster. They were constantly thinking, maybe we can't play with him. Now they're back at that strength that we were able to see at Reykjavik. And can they repeat that? Can they keep that up? Is the practice that they got in with 10 enough?
I think, though, for ZETA Division, and for any ZETA fans out there, expectations should be low for Map 1.
Yes.
If you think about how the series should go, in quotes, Ascent is massively favored towards Loud.
Yeah.
And then the other two maps, ZETA have decent chances of winning. So going down one map and then winning the second is a feasible route for the Japanese team. But this first map, to me, is about whether or not the players have turned up at LAN. And Sugar Zero, Laz have done it before. Laz multiple times. Depp, who is going to be playing one of the spearhead roles for the team probably here, he actually really struggled last time.
Yeah.
Even though his team made third place, Depp did not turn up. So he's a player that I'm going to have a serious look at in this map to see if he can find value.
Yeah, it's actually interesting to note, Mimi, 94% win rate for Loud. on Ascent, which kind of just goes right back to that point that you were making, right? And they are going to need players like Deb, like Laz. They're going to need these guys to step up if they're going to do this. But obviously, this map 1 is going to be pretty difficult for them. And if they actually have a pop-off performance, that could maybe spell doom for Loud in the series.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, though, that for Loud, with this map, this is comfort. They have played pretty much the same composition for quite a while when they're rocking with this map. They've stuck by that Jet. They've really been enabling Ospas to go big.
All right, well, here it is, your Prime Gaming Agent Select. Let's see what we end up getting on this map. Probably not going to be expecting too many things here, maybe off the beaten path.
I don't know. The biggest question is about what ZETA can change, but on the side of Loud, they will stick to their guns. This is a composition that they've pretty much always played here on this map. You have Ospas on the Jet, you have Sadok and Saucy on those initiators to support, and you also do go with the Omen. ZETA tends to be a very Astra-heavy team. Loud does like this Omen. That Paranoia can be great to set up their start.
ZETA Division, though, also going for a very similar theme with their comp, and Ascent they don't play a ton of, so this is a bit of a different look for them. And getting the Fade in there is pretty much the only big difference, but a lot of teams are doing it, and it is good.
Yeah, and they were playing the Fade Rays last time, which I wasn't super impressed by, so they return to comfort here with Dep on that Jet. I think another big point for them is that we do have that Killjoy locked in. It's the role that has traditionally looked a lot better for 10.
Ascent is a defense-sided map, though, most of the time, and ZETA Division are going to start on the defense. They're the only team at Champions with under 50% defense win rate in general. And they have 47% in gun rounds. I mean, they are bad at defense currently. And most of that is because they can't retake. I mean, their retakes have been shocking. So they lose 40% of their rounds just by getting into retakes that they can't win. So they cannot allow Loud to get onto the sites.
All right, well, you heard from our analysts. It's now time to dive into the matchup. Ascent is going to be our first battleground. But let's go ahead and send it over to your casters who truly are the papi chulos of Valorant. It's Doug and Ball.
Thank you so much, Shuby. Man, he's just so complimentary at the beginning of every throw. It's great, and we're so mean to him. We really should probably try to be nicer.
We need to get him a gift at the end of this.
we might have to. Ball, a chance at redemption for both of these squads.
Yep.
As the Des mentioned it, less than stellar performances last time we saw both of them.
Yeah, I think the Loud one stands much more clear in people's minds because it was at Copenhagen. ZETA failed to make it to Copenhagen, but they've also played a lot of international games, and they went on that miracle run. Josh has mentioned a lot about how their stats online and the lead up to stage 2 when they didn't make it through were really poor. But actually, it was the same story, and he mentioned that as well.
Yeah,
before Reykjavik, it did not look like this team had anything notable to go for them, and then they turned it around completely.
As the Devs was mentioning, ZETA is going to start off on the defensive half. The opener in this best of 3, Ascent, Fracture, and Bind are on the menu if we need to get there. But early on, you're already seeing Dep go very aggressive off of the Haunted. He gets a kill.
Dude, and that's a pistol round that so many teams are going, but Ospas is not stopping. He's going to try to find an equalizer immediately.
The rotation surely have to come over soon. They've got to feel all the pressure heading in their way and their labs. But Dep, if he can continue to keep them back, he's going to be just fine on his own.
Miss Flash.
Flash just a bit outside, and Dep with the third. He's got a fourth right before him. 10 from up top. Saucy with a whole lot before him. He's gotten it down to a 1v2.
His team just left him there on that fight.
He still has 9 armor. There's still so much time left in the round.
And Sugar Zero has the frenzy. Also, they're playing the high-low in case he went for an aggressive play, which Saucy makes it a wise choice not to. He still wants to. So much time on the clock, like you said, and they could get caught in the backstab.
Saucy has his dart too. Does he check glass? Oh, he's going to check it, but is he going to look all the way around? One.
Oh, but he doesn't know.
Yeah, he doesn't know that the alert's right beside him. You called out the frenzy. That cleans up the round. ZETA get the first.
I mean, chaotic after 10. Missed the shots to end it. Saucy could have already been taken down, and he makes it really close, an exploration mission. And unfortunately, Sugar Zero is just on the other side of that window, and it's not broken too. They go for this really nice Paper-esque play in A main, and it does net them a kill. You can already see Dep going over towards this Jet, them giving up the chamber, is prepped, no matter what the sub situation was. And actually, it mattered here on this map because 10 was playing Raze. And that's not a role that XCLL, the sub that they came here with, was very familiar with, so.
Looking like a mid-B split here. See the Marshall in the hands of Deb. He's taking a good bit of damage, has to back up, has to give the space away. They have the alarm bot there to provide some cover. Sadok's not going to be around for much longer. Deb, clotheslined. There's another wrestling reference for you, GB. Bro's just going to get more, and you can see Loud didn't have very much for guns. The Spectres are just kind of doing all the work in this round. Can Aspas find anything with his Sheriff? No, we can't. ZETA up 2-0.
And good patience there for them not to challenge on the B side against Aspas there as Sugar Zero comes through with the flank from Catwalk. And that's a very, very good anti-eco there. 2 rounds now, we've actually seen Loud try to go for a little bit of control on one side, and when that's not going great, in this case it was the top mid pressure, they really, really try to push the other side very fast to equalize.
We'll see if they keep up to those antics. This should be a decent round for Loud. They're going to have actually light armor the whole way. They are going to have their rifles, but that's it.
And it looks like we actually have potentially ZETA Division all up in spawn right here. So yeah, I think we're going to go for a tech timeout. And a good start from them. And they will go for a bonus now. And Josh was alluding to a little bit of their stats, right? Specifically the one about their defensive rounds being quite poor. But also, they have some of the worst bonus conversion rates out of any team here. And that is even more of a drastic difference on that defensive side. So this is an important round for them to keep the tempo. You always saw them when they were fighting through the Challengers playoffs and even at Reykjavik as well, them fighting from behind to try to come back. And it's because of moments like these where they're not able to convert the bonus.
And that felt like, that felt like the main song throughout all of Copenhagen, right? People are just busting economies half after half off of rounds like the one we have before us. So we'll see whether or not that's going to be the case. As soon as we get some info on what's going on, we will get you good people at home updated on the situation. But it's a great start from ZETA. Ball, I think you mentioned it very succinctly. Loud have tried testing waters. They don't like what they see. They go to the opposite side of the map. And while it ultimately hasn't netted them anything, it's interesting to watch some of their tendencies already.
Yeah. The fishing expeditions that Aspas is going on are definitely ambitious, to say the least. The first round, it almost netted them potentially a way back in, but just not methodical enough so far. And I think those are the types of things you expect Loud to certainly get better at as the game and tournament progresses.
It was interesting to hear the coach from Loud talk about it. Like there is a heavy dose of confidence.
Yeah.
There is a heavy dose of faith in this team. They feel very good about the fact that they have, or I mean, I guess we'll find out if they have or if they haven't, but they believe they've come into this tournament having shored up all of the problems that ruined their run in Copenhagen. And I mean, obviously it's very early to tell, but you can tell the confidence is at an all-time high with the squad.
Yeah, it also kind of felt like he was hedging a little bit on their performance through their regional stages, right?
Sure.
Because he was talking a lot about how they're getting, experience against the other Brazilian teams, and when you come to an international event, it's completely different. I think ZETA is a formidable opponent when it comes specifically to that, right? You have to be disciplined to take down a ZETA Division team who is going to be disciplined on their end. You're not going to see the same types of ranked peaking that you're seeing in Brazil that he's talking about, right? BZK.
Be interesting to see whether or not that patience from ZETA continues. I do have some info for you good people at home. It seems to be an audio issue on the stage. As soon as we get it rectified, we'll get back into the action again. A little bit of audio. I mean, minor details, right? Do you really need audio in Valorant? I mean, come on.
Such a treat to see ZETA Division back up on the stage, though. Yeah. Loud too, but we saw them at Copenhagen. It didn't go that great. Yes, I want to see the redemption arc potential, right? They were kind of befallen under the second place curse after Reykjavik, so I'll cut them some slack. ZETA we didn't get to see. That was a miracle run.
Yeah.
Something that we rarely have seen. We have not really played that much Valorant so far in the game's lifespan. There was the crew miracle run at Champions last year, and then this one is so memorable. So to see them back here again inspires confidence. Inspires a little bit of giddiness in me too.
Oh yeah, I mean the question is like, is it going to be ZETA?
Yeah.
Is it going to be someone else? Leviathan, I saw some headlines. They shocked the world yesterday, and while some people may have not been as high on the Liquid train as others were, it was still an impressive win. So you look at that and you go, okay, who is it?
Yeah,
who is it this time?
Yeah, I mean there was EDG yesterday too. Showed up and kind of played right into the hype that is around that team. And unfortunately for ZETA, I think they've lost a little bit of that. I think if they went into Copenhagen, it would have been like a massive uproar to see ZETA try to make another one of those runs deep into playoffs. And we just didn't get it. We just didn't get it. Thankfully, we got a little bit of taste of them in front of a crowd, but let's see if they can try to experience that again. It's so long. Such a grueling process to get it all the way through.
It really is. And with a bigger field, there's so much more at stakes. And it's a gauntlet. You're absolutely right. But I think that tweet just kind of goes to what we were just talking about, right? Like, do you believe in magic?
Yeah.
Because that was the ZETA run.
That was exactly what was the thoughts on everybody's mind. They continued to stomp team after team after team in the lower bracket. And on the flip side, the desk was talking about how these teams did not play against each other. Loud went through the upper bracket gauntlet here. And it's just so interesting. Now we're here in Turkey, and we've got essentially the group of Reykjavik, right? Optics waiting later to play, and they're in this group as well. So
they'll be up next.
So interesting to see it rehashed again at the ultimate tournament of the year.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better than that. Very quickly, I want to go back to the EDG. Do you think Mimi feels bad about changing her prediction after she saw EDG?
You called her out like that?
Yeah, I did.
That was completely off air. That's
I was
wild.
like kicking back there. She changed predictions on the desk.
I know. She's a flip-flop for that one.
I'm kind of sorry, not entirely sorry. Again, audio issue. We're getting back into the action very, very soon. ZETA, well, the round, I mean, it was the first round. The second round less so.
Yeah.
First round was very close. ZETA have the lead here. ZETA have the advantage. And again, to harken back to what Josh was saying on the desk, this is a defensive side for ZETA, where they were bad, right? Like, they were bad. Let's not sugarcoat it.
No, less than 50% win rate on the defensive side, and that still netted them a grand finals berth in Challengers 2, right? And this we're talking about stage 2 and on stats, right? When we mentioned that, I imagine that they're kind of similar when you look at the Reykjavik stats too. But either way, it's something that they need to shore up against a team like Loud, whose stats are ridiculous, by the way, on all sides, on gun rounds, everything. And we are back in the game. Aggressive look down mid for ZETA and into A for Loud as well.
Now, Les has to be careful. He's the only one who's been sectioned off, and he is going to get some info that they're pushing this way. They see the Prowler. It doesn't land, and he lands the shots on 10 instead. The thing is, though, they've lost all mid control. They have no presence across that area of the map, and you see Depp is already looking to take that space away.
And the alarm bot is just in time, too. Pankata can retreat to help Les, but he's going to be isolated. So these guys have a chance to take this 3v4.
How patient is he? Aspas down low, can't hear a dang thing. They're dropping in the smoke right in front of him. Aspas swinging around, he's able to get 1-2. Oh, it looks like they're gonna trade back. Dashes right into Laz and is punished for it. Laz in a 1v2. He's not able to pull it off. Louder on the board.
And Laz just destroyed the top mid flank. That was crucial. He needed to be isolated because even in that final situation, it could have been a 1v1 on site. As the player from A main maybe had a chance to flank, but completely shut down, well handled from Loud. And I was mentioning the struggles that ZETA have in bonus rounds. That's the first one, and it continues to certainly be a problem. I think Loud played that great, though. The way, not even just on the site, but the way they handled that round entirely. Their execute starts as Les, who realizes the situation is Shark Attack. And that's the cue for them to go. They know that there's space, and they know they're an advantage.
Aspas using the Blade Storm right off the bat. There's Saucy has his ultimate to work with as well on the side of Loud. Going back to the middle of the map. Aspas, the tip of the spear. Gotta get a shot at Depp. First two blades go a bit wide.
They use a lot of utility there, but they do net at least some safety.
Whoa. Where is that Depp? It's get canceled instantly.
Yeah. Great night from Laz.
And you kind of wonder like what it was that he saw in that moment.
What a read! How did he know?
Obviously has X-ray vision. Sugar Zero not around much longer. And they do still have some time, and they do still have the middle of the map to work with. Also note, the Blade Storm's still available. He dashes forward. Aspas up top. The Cloudburst to provide some cover. 10 not able to land the shots. Aspas not either. Has to give the space back up. Now we're down to 40 seconds left. How many options do you have? Knife misses. There's going to be a good bit of utility there.
They have so much space. Oh, they're going fast with the lockdown. This keeps them off of the site. This could be huge.
Aspas behind them, creeping his way forward, and they've spotted him. He's been dropped. Now Laz using his own ult. It's a 2v2 here. Laz weak.
They can't push the lockdown.
No, 10 gets it to half. Is he going to hold it the entire way? Yeah, Timmy the Turret providing cover! And he gets the defuse.
Unbelievable decision. They just put the lockdown down and spawn and try to cover it from inside of sight. They just go so fast. Never seen that done before.
And you've got, I wish we could see it again because Les's kill at the very end there, that could not have been closer.
You just saw it. I'm not sure if Pankata was able to see him. He tried to sneak past the one-way. Right as the Hunter's Fury was getting canceled, so he just gets unlucky. But they still win the round. Remember, that was a 4 versus 5.
It's crazy.
From Loud.
Excellent. Sorry, you hear the other Bladestorm used, this time from Depp. We'll see what he can do with it.
2 big ults here from Loud, though. The KO ult already popped. The lockdown, too. They could use that in the post plant.
Ooh, but that knife out from Last spotted a whole lot of people down A long, and they're going to persist. They're going to go forward.
The problem here is they're broke, too. They might have won the last round, but they didn't win that bonus and lost all players.
Depp is the key here. Can he find some success with that Bladestorm? We got a couple of Sheriff's Crow as a frenzy, too. The delay from the Nanostorms, man. No one wants to get anywhere near that, but the timing isn't great for Aspect. Lands the shots anyway. Depp has been so tagged up. He's been so peppered. A prime gaming flawless comes through his Loud punch back.
And there was definitely no fight there from ZETA. I realized because I was so hyped that their buy was so weak when that hit started. So Loud did using ults in that situation. Potentially not expecting what the... Oh my God.
I love those kills. Hold W, spam, into a smoke. Why not?
And also great angle from Aspas on top of that box to control everything on top of the mollies that Les is throwing. And great to see Les fragging as well, because he was a star at Reykjavik, not a star at Copenhagen.
7-2 start for the young buck on the side of Loud. He's got that lockdown still to work with. And he's actually on the opposite side of the map right now. His team looking over towards A. So it seems like they're expecting mid-aggression from ZETA here.
Concealment.
As soon as the drone pops, SugarZero pops his own smoke.
Obscuring vision.
He's trying to work a pick.
Nice pass, dashing forward, going into his first and the second cloud burst. Cover still his. The flash in his face. The door goes down. What do they do? Do they try to shoot it down? Do they try to push forward? No, SugarZero was left alone out there on an island. 10 close by. But what defenses are left? Depp still causing problems from the other side of the door. Switch clear, but Les once again on the flank. He's got a chance to blow this thing up. No, Depp is wise to it, but is the timing gonna land his way? No, it's not. Les takes care of him. 3v2 in favor of Loud. Note that Les still has his ultimate. If things get hairy.
And Tree, there's a good spot for it.
Yep. How do they get out? Hellbound Hound, Crow not able to get it. Can Laz do any of it himself? He drops one. But that's all it's gonna be. We're tied up at 3-piece.
And a great round again from Loud. They're just really abusing their default and giving room for Aspas to work picks. They just slowly work their way out on A side.
And again, they have good cover. Les continues to play in tiles, and he's got that area map controlled. It's a great setup. It's early map control, and then you have the flank you have to consider at the end of the round.
Yeah.
Even when you get what you want.
Well, also, it's conditioning, too. You're going to be able to see certain things, at least in the side of ZETA Division. Where is Les? Is he in mid? Exactly. They're probably still going for their default. But at the same time, there's room here for ZETA to spot certain things, because it's been predictable, I think, so far from Loud. The way that they're working at A main, very little utility being thrown at the beginning of the round anywhere else on the map as they walk and approach through A main. It is a nice attempt, though, I think, from them, because they're aware of how SugarZero is playing on the site. He's playing really passive, right? He's just trying to jump spot, see if there's utility coming through, then he pops his smokes, and he's trying to play around them on site. There's actually a nice volley thrown as well from 10 to try to support and potentially fight on that site. But it's just too slow.
ZETA, as you can see, call a timeout. We're nearing the end of that. Again, a very close affair. Perhaps predictability, perhaps close rounds going either which way, but the way it crumbles, we are tied up at 3-piece here on Ascent. We'll see if they continue their default or off of a timeout. Oftentimes, this is when you see a little bit of spice, right? Something a little different.
Sure. I think it should be an eco here, though, from ZETA, and it will be.
Yeah.
I'm curious, though, because right now in this round, you're seeing them swap the Killjoy over towards the A side. You have SugarZero potentially playing towards the B side. Actually, no, they're going to decide to stack over towards A, but that's something I think that they might try to do, right? Where maybe that Fade can get a little bit more value. Because right now, he's just on haunt duty on B main.
Laz once again finding value with this knife. I believe tag 2 there outside of B main. The drone, clear out, any pesky little corners. And you see Laz already preparing to drop some utility. But it's going to be a very similar hit that we've seen that allow the paranoia, the dash, to try to create some space.
Ooh.
It's a great startup from SugarZero, though. Laz is also playing backside. They haven't given up very much space.
They're in sight?
Yeah, they haven't given up an inch. They haven't given up a single inch. Now Sadak and Peccado, though, 2 left. We'll make it just one. What a round out from ZETA.
Exactly the type of round as well that gave them third place at Reykjavik. And they're doing it to the runner-ups. What a thrifty. And again, that fast-paced push into B site. You realize the moment that that was happening. All of a sudden, Laz falls off. He throws his nade lane. And the haunt combo that they had with that smoke, they all just get in it, and it actually works really, really well. So Loud not prepared to break that as it falls behind them. So really, really good stuff from Crow, which we were just mentioning. Wasn't really finding value over towards that B side.
See, as it seems like Loud go back to what has gotten them to this point so far. You've got less playing tiles, the rest of the team working A and mid.
A little bit more up cat here, though, and Aspas is aggressive. Laz recognizes that, though, but he's given so much space up.
This is also much closer. The paranoia out from Pancata doesn't tag anything quite yet. Laz with the counter flash of his own. He's spamming across the smoke, has to give the space back up. Tree is lost, but Les finds a kill already.
Just spotted 10. I don't think he knows, though. The Molly, it's a kill combo.
Fast, playing behind Jenny. 2 targets right before him, a little high, a little low. Pancata's able to provide some cover, but it wasn't enough. 10 cleans him up. They've gotten the spike onto the side, and once again, they have to worry about the late flanks that are coming through, but they're wise to it yet again. 3 for Les, 4 for Loud.
That is cold from Les, too. You mentioned awareness, and he is perfectly timing his turn there. Potentially Sugar Zero a little fast on that one. They had 3 ults to play into that, and not a single one used. But look at this. They're fighting so long to help and fight the player who's gotten into Gen. That's Aspas.
Yeah.
Because of all the smokes that are going down on that execute, there's so many weird angles that you have to be paying attention to there. And unfortunately, Zeta's not able to convert any kills off of it.
Quite the far cry from what we saw in the previous round. Now again, Zeta in this weird buy situation. Laz has a shorty. That's really all he's got.
Yeah, he's now playing Chamber this time too, so.
He's going to be posted up a tree, so keep that in mind. If anyone goes that way, you've got a chance for fireworks. While Depp with the op holding middle of the map.
If you're just joining us too, first time you're watching Zeta in a while, Laz giving up on the Chamber on this map. And going back to his prior role of Initiator, which he played all throughout 2021 essentially. And he was just as good at that role. And we're already seeing some really nice value out of the KO, but definitely not going to have the same power as Chamber. Here he goes again, onto Cap.
Yeah, Zeta should have a really good idea of what this hit is. They know that Dev got smoked off, and as soon as that smoke went up, they pinged the middle of the map. But I think they've slightly misread what's going on here. The Nightfall across A doesn't tag. Maybe it tagged 1?
Oh, you're right. They're misreading this.
Yeah, just
rotating
barely.
off, but there's still room for them to work. Sugar Zero's still here. Don't forget.
Hunter's Fury, Sugar Zero up top, like you said, gets 2, and the spike. Oh, it's clean! Sugar Zero gets the 3rd.
I need to stop obscuring vision.
No, he smokes off their main too. There's no way in for Saucy. Les with a massive flank, but I don't even know if there's time. He has to make it through mid. He's got to put his sneakers on. Get running. And they're giving up.
Yeah, you just got to go super fast, man.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, there's just no way. Fight, trying to get the op out. Nope.
Yeah, he's not even going to be able to cross. Oh, no.
Wait,
that's close.
Wait, just a darn. Oh.
4 seconds to plant. Sometimes I just don't trust, the number at the top of the screen. Don't trust my eyes, whether I have the reaction time to tell it or not.
We're way too old to be doing that. 3 ults for Loud as they carry that into the next round, and it was ultimately Sugar Zero's stall here, Bala, that won Zeta the round.
Yeah, this was really, really nice from him. He's using the time that Loud actually used a lot of, I don't know, their pressure, right? At the beginning of the round. They were fast. Laz had to use his name. And then they used that time of quiet to reposition. And that was where Sugar Zero's getting away from any Hunter's Fury lanes. He's playing up Heaven. That's not normally a place where your anchor's playing. Because he knew our team was kind of in the middle of rotating there.
Loud calling a timeout here. Again, it's been a bit tit for tat this entire map. And with that in mind, knowing that we're nearing the end of the first half, seems like Loud are going to try to take control of the situation and see if we get something different out of this timeout. Remember, the last time we saw this timeout, it was from Zeta, but they went towards B and they got obliterated off of Zeta's pistol. So we'll see if they try to dial up something different. We've seen heavy mid, we've seen heavy A, just not a ton B.
The fast retakes towards B, I think it's something that they're concerned about. And I think it's for good reason. Though the way you can crunch those is you fake it, right? We haven't seen that from Loud at all.
Yeah.
The possibility of them throwing in fakes right now, I think ZETA is really kind of just not biting on anything, and that's giving them full, normal, advantaged fights on the sites. Not advantaged, but not disadvantaged either.
Sure. Sitting on the fact that if we see something, they're going.
There's really no misdirection.
Yeah.
This round, there is no less over towards B main. But he still has this turret there watching. It's actually a really nice turret where you can spread really wide here.
And Depp is there with the op. See if it triggers. Again, you just saw Aspes with his Blade Storm. And is it going to be another fast hit? It looks like it is. There's nobody on here right now, though. Oh, and they just heard the opposite tree. Aspes going up top. No challenge quite yet.
Here.
Important here, Sadak did not use his nade, so he can potentially use it to break this lockdown that's coming. Sasi with shock darts too.
2 lockdowns too. There's a nade that you just mentioned. First one goes down. Will the second one persist? It seems like that will be the case.
He's going for it still.
A gentleman's agreement is both teams decide to pause on the round, and then the gunfire erupts. Numbers in favor of Loud as they continue to push their way forward. The spike planted. Lad trying to find something, no.
This team gave up on him. They were gone as he dropped, and unfortunately for him, he's not going to be able to take that fight because that smoke that they were using potentially to drop out was covering, so they couldn't fight. Good wall, but still, there was just too much from Loud there. They had the counter lockdown, which made them really cautious of approaching the space, of approaching Laz entirely. And then as well, their lockdown just instantly obliterated by the nade. And that nade's not actually that easy to, I mean, it's easy to land, but not easy to choose which spot that lockdown actually is. Because it's split second, noticing, hey, where's the dot? Ooh. That's nice. That's a combination of the lockdown they were using inside of A main. So he knows that potentially people are sitting in that corner. Well done, Pancata.
Tied at 5-5 apiece here. 3 members on the side, well, 2 now on the side of ZETA with light armor. Operator still in the hands of Depp. Carries that over from the previous round. We'll see if they do anything interesting with Pancata's ult. I haven't seen a ton of like crazy TikTok-y plays quite yet.
Yeah, I know. At
It
this
would be
point,
nice, though.
yeah, at this point, very difficult to get those off, though, right? TikTok is useful for, oh, that's cool. Not useful for much more outside of gimmicks. Gimmicks are nice. And Depp picking up the op is not super uncommon. Look actually at the position of Sugar Zero. He's got stars spread really wide, and that's an anti-KO setup. Sadak, who's sitting A main, they've used it every time, instantly towards A main. This time it's a lot more quiet.
Once again, very similar to what we've seen in the last couple of rounds. Last playing really far back. Seems like it's all about timings for Loud so far. You hear that no command come through, Depp smoked off and decides to push forward. What a lunatic. He's got the dash proc. Here's one go through. Swings out. Oh, and it just narrowly misses. Brushes the shoulder, but Depp doesn't miss twice. Numbers in favor of ZETA. For now. Loud looking to equalize the matter. Aspes left in this 1v3. Laz has ultimate. No armor to his name. Weak health. The spike's so far away, though.
30 seconds left.
How the heck does Aspes do this? There's certainly no way.
Just waiting. Reminiscent of pistol round, waiting for him to pick up the spike, but they're getting too far away. He might get Laz, and
he's gotten him to at least 1v1. But 10 wins the second. ZETA hits 6.
A lead right now, potentially.
Last round in the half.
They have the opportunity to win the half. When there were
weaker side.
And there were many doubters specifically about that exactly.
Mainly Josh.
This could be a really good game so far from ZETA Division. Already above their averages. Already you're seeing players who needed to step up on LAN doing just that. But most importantly, the team play and prep is already there.
No extra oomph behind this punch for Loud. Just that ultimate from Pancata that we mentioned in the previous round. No Hunter's Fury, no command, nothing. Oh my gosh. And no ass pass either. Can he find a second? Death up top. Ooh, that's a lot of damage.
And without Aspes, that's a huge thing for Loud. They rely on him so much for entry picks.
Look at the pivot. Previously it was Celeste who was running back in spawn, making sure the flank wasn't coming through. This time it's Pancata, but it's because of his ult. He should be able to, if they take B, he should be able to get over there quickly.
Again, predictable. And it looks finally like Sadak wants to poke over towards A, and they hit B. But look, there's still mollies, and there's still even Crow's fade utility here. So while this fake might be the first time it actually works out, never mind. There's no follow-up.
Yeah, and there's nothing behind the punch.
Sees is perfect, too.
Bolt comes through. Blast swings out. Can they find anything? Oh, of course, there's a judge in the hand of Blast. Blast, excuse me. Saucy trying to spam through the smoke, see if he can get a free one of his own. He's going to push forward. He's not going to find anyone back there.
And it's important here. They can't pivot anymore now that they lost Penkata.
Yeah. Note here, keep a third eye on Sugar Zero. He's going to be the late flank, working his way through mid, and they've got them boxed in right now. There's no time to go anywhere else. They have nowhere that they can go, and they just get destroyed. A 7-5 half for ZETA.
Winning the half is massive here. Again, the weaker side, and they pull it off.
Excellent start out from ZETA. We'll see what the desk thinks about that first half. GB?
I should probably place some cards in the Astro.
Well, there is one thing that you guys did say. Sideshow did not believe in ZETA whatsoever.
He never does.
Truly an awful person. Sideshow, your thoughts?
Why is this always the narrative?
I don't make the rules.
No, they did play quite well, actually. I thought that ZETA had a nice adaptation, and specifically a couple of the players that we were looking at.
Yeah.
You know, Depp performing well, and Less on the other side too for Loud. Having a good performance here gives you an idea that the individual performances, the players you're looking at that didn't go crazy, Copenhagen or Reykjavik, are actually turning up.
Yeah, now he's back on that comfort, playing the Killjoy. He's freed up to really slow down the game and playing the lurks. Lado's playing a super execution-heavy style, so having him in play, having him to kind of come through in the late rounds and save those posts when ZETA's playing that heavy retake is super pivotal.
Yeah, however, I feel like ZETA Division did a great job of reading the style that Loud play on Ascent. It's very execute-heavy. The whole server felt like a retake simulator.
Yeah,
Loud just sent 5 or 4 people
no
towards the
mid-rounds
site.
here at all.
No mid-rounding whatsoever. Now, this pistol round, I think, was gorgeous. It's one that a lot of other people are starting to use with the Fade Horn and Depp getting online. I think they definitely need another one of these heading into the next half and just secure it out. This would be such a blow for Loud losing Ascent.
Yeah, it really would be, and I think the momentum they managed to build off of this round was really nice. It's just that kind of vote of confidence off the start for this Japanese squad. They're showing us that they can kind of have that slower style, that they can have those preset plans, but they can also change up on the fly. We were worried about those retakes. They showed us that they can do it. Now on the attack, we get to see what they've prepped up in those executes. Loud, though, they are a very strong defensive team, and especially with Aspas on that jet, fighting for that extremity control really often with his 2 initiators, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, you're really looking at Aspas, Sadhak going aggressive on defense here. Loud still have a great shot on this map.
All right, well, it's still anyone's ball game here. Let's send it back over to the casters.
Thank you, GB. Yes, a very close affair between ZETA and Loud. A narrow lead, but as they were mentioning, there's really no telling what happens on the other side of the proverbial ball.
Yeah, and it is only one half, so this trend of us already leaning into ZETA, or to Josh, who's hating on ZETA, I think, is a little early because, like everybody said, so much to play. And Loud, too, you just saw such a good defensive team.
He does make it easy.
I mean,
he does make it easy. ZETA exploring the middle of the map here, at least Depp is. Got a little bit of help with Crow close behind.
And if we didn't see much mid-rounding on the first half, we're going to see a lot. This is ZETA's bread and butter.
I mean, the two stories could not be more different. Heavy execute out from Loud. ZETA burn the clock down. They're so methodical. They're so patient.
Look at the setup, though, here on Cat. Kata's on Tree. He could easily get some spam shots with a dart from Saucy.
And you see the setup. The smoke, the haunt, the dash.
Oh, they're so low already.
Whoa! Where did Saucy hit that from?
He's in Tree right now. And it's just great runouts.
Step just narrowly missing the timing there. Sidestep, Frenzy not going to land. And look at him playing into smoke.
They're double swinging this, though.
Oh, Sugar Zero's been so good in these spots! But is there a trade? No, there's not a trade! How is it not traded out? The pistol goes in favor of Loud.
And Josh said how important it is for them to win that pistol. You saw the very, very well-rehearsed pistol round from ZETA Division inside of A main, and they're not that good at converting them. They sit around slightly above 50%. Loud, on the other hand, fantastic. Most of their stats regional. But that was huge. Remember, so much the crucial rounds. I think he also...
May have done some slash damage to another, yeah.
Really nice.
Vamos, caralho! O piso é nosso, velho! Vamos, porra! Amassar de defesa agora.
Smiles all around for Loud. Again, just the first round in the second half, but statistically, this is their sweet spot. They're very comfortable here.
Don't forget the one thrifty round so far that's been had in this game. One in the favor of ZETA. Loud grouping a lot here in mid. They're much more dynamic so far, but the push is coming in towards Pancata instead.
There's so much utility here too from Glass, and there it is. The first nano goes through. You've got a Paranoia out from Pancata. And now you've heard that the glass gets breaking out. There's a Paranoia. Hot not spotting anything. They've been so well concealed, and they're dealing all sorts of damage.
Spike down A.
Deb gets 2, which is honestly more than I expected with that Sheriff. And that's all he's good for. Pancata gets a 3rd on the round. Loud's highest up at 7.
Really good hold as they come stomping down Cat. And the split really nice. Pancata and Less, you could see the 2-man unit that they were running with. Wow, the rest of the team was just working inside of middle, kind of seeing which side ZETA Division was going to poke at the beginning of the round. And so they're fast on the rotate too, but they didn't even need it.
There may be something fast set up here defensively from Loud. Look at how far up they're postured, both in B main and mid.
And Aspas does have that Vandal.
And look at the pings on the map, yeah. There it is. There's the dart, the Paranoia, but the Paranoia doesn't tag. They've invested so much just to see if there's nobody there.
Yeah,
and
but
now you see the early rotates.
Look at the difference. We saw this exact situation happen on the bonus on the first half. The ZETA Division did not get any kills. They didn't stay, and they're worried about going into A main. And it's coming so late while Loud is here already.
Dev goes forward. He's been isolated. He's got the Haunt over shoulder to make sure that there's no one there with him. 10 drops. That was the cover on the flank. Now they're going to have to worry about that as well.
They do hear it. Sugar Zero's already getting in position to fight it, but it's all of eight. He's going to continue to flank, though, and that could be massive.
Does he wrap all the way around? Still has 1 SAR left to work with, and yep, he's creeping forward. Time ticking away as ZETA hang on as best as they can to control of this site. And again, the timing is everything here. Tucks under hell, Dart not spotting anything, but they find the kills that they need.
Come out.
Gotta go fast, too. There it is. The defuse pause for now. 3v2. You've got the smoke to provide some cover. It's a massive kill up for Sugar Zero. He's not able to find anything else at all. Zone to Crow. He's healthy. And my goodness, Saucy's not. They haven't even gotten it to half. He's going to have to stick it. He's going to have to hold it. He gets 1 kill, but the trade comes through. Half saves the day for Loud.
They instantly swap there, too, on the diffuser.
So clean.
Last full HP to take the fight. Saucy, very low. Well played from Loud on the shark attack, and they convert the bonus. The difference could have been made just then in this game, in this first map. Good composure from Loud in the situations that they need. Sugar Zero had a chance to potentially do a little bit more, but also Loud worried about that. As soon as it comes out, they're off the defuse. They have to make sure that they get that kill down. And let's see again, Sadak wants to get inside of B main. They're doing a great job with the extremity control. Actually have both sides, A main and B main right now.
Just funnel them to mid, and you already see the rotations from out. Look at where they're facing on the minimap. The drone, 3 people close by to challenge. You've also got mid that's being taken away as they're just on the flash. There, it's a very good flash. The Cloudburst provides some cover, and Saucy's there to save it again. Aspas still has it. Oh, he had that dash ready to go. Blast swings out.
1 enemy remaining.
Clean shots out from Saucy too. This was a lighter round for them, but yeah. Either way, clean out from Loud.
Well, I mean, now they've got the lead and pretty comfortable as well. As a couple ults come up for ZETA, this one's crucial. They've got to reverse the trend right now where Loud is getting all the space early. It's something that has been, I think, certainly a pattern for ZETA, right? Where they give up a lot of space early, but then they're able to work back at it in such good fashion. I don't necessarily think they have the tools on this map specifically. I'm thinking back to the split games that they so commonly able to work those mid-rounds. So there might be another shark attack here. Yeah, they're just going for it again. Missed the flash.
Paranoia doesn't land, but the dart does. They know that 10's there, and 10 somehow still gets a kill. Dep's there to give numbers back in favor of ZETA after the trade. Uh-oh. Sugar Zero, again, just on the other side of the smoke. Saucy going to score, and Sugar Zero had no idea, but the bullets don't land. May have gotten a bit more than they bargained for here as Ladder heavily outnumbered. They're going to have to pull off some sort of miracle, and perhaps the miracle comes in favor of Saucy, and now less. This was a 4v2 that they've snatched back.
Enemy remaining.
It's gotten down to a 1v1. Oh, and now they've got the lockdown. He's got the spike is nowhere near him. He's going to have to clear that out and make a play for that space.
Plenty of space, and he has smokes too. If Let's commits all the way back into spawn, he can get smoked off. And yep, there it is. Les wants to fight it.
61 HP.
I need a stop. Blocking vision.
Now down to 21. The swing is there. Les lands the shots. They were so outnumbered.
But they don't expect the Sova and the Killjoy to be following that after they win the fight against the Shark Attack. You 100% expect, yeah, Pancata, the Omen, the Jet, the KO are going to be aggressive, but when all those guys fall and you see it's just Killjoy and it's just Sova, there's no way those guys are pushing the follow-up. There's just no way. And also, you don't necessarily even expect that 2 rounds in a row. So final timeout used here. I think Loud played that really well, but specifically Les too. You saw the way he repositioned after that smoke went down. Immediately he knows he can't be close to this yet, so he can't actually take this space. And he recognized the blunder from Sugar Zero.
Another timeout comes through, this time from ZETA. They have a lot of ultimates to work with here as we turn our attention to the next round, but the money's not in a great shape.